Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero players. This is Shorto. Today I'm going to do a quick video on my thoughts about the Sith rework, the inclusion of 3 new Sith, which I like how on my screen they're all linked together. Scion and Marauder below, and then Traya next. Of course, Traya's going to be a while. Everyone's going to dread that. But once Traya comes out, I'm sure there's going to be something new. I feel like there's going to be a new meta of like rebels or scoundrels or bounty hunters or something, and Sith will fall by the wayside in the raid or in the arena, and then when Traya comes out, it's going to change that to where they're going to come back to the top because of Traya. But yeah, we'll see. So my initial thoughts. So I'm going to talk about like reworks on at least these first 2 characters. You know, I'm glad they did a rework on both of them. They really needed it. They made Palpatine less squishy, if you Zeta him, of course. I Zetaed his leader so I can build up for his arena. So yeah, that's something I'm still working towards. I do like the rework. I feel like there could still be some there could still be some improvements, and I feel like they might do that more down the road. But for now, Palpatine is good as he is. Granted, in my wish thought is in the future they could add like maybe plus 25% max health or critical avoidance or something to make him a little more tougher in his Zeta. Outside of that, Palpatine's, great. He does really well. And he's just, of course, yes, he is best used with Darth Vader. That's the only reason why you want to see him in the arena. Unless there's a future team that he's used. Darth Vader now. Darth Vader always, I will say I will eventually Zeta his ability because I will want to work on his ships, make his ship even better. But for the most part, Vader got the can't be countered on the Force Crush. That was awesome. Also, I feel like that should be on Palpatine's Power of the Dark Side. Just to, he's very powerful on the dark side. No one's going to counter him. unless, non-Sith. It can't be countered by non-Sith. There you go. So if there's ever a Sith counter meta that comes out in the next 2 to 3 years, boom. Then only, non-Sith, Sith can counter that. But anyways, Darth Vader's unique is the biggest one, getting speed. It's kind of weird seeing speed on Vader because if you think of him, Vader, he feels like he's kind of slow because of the way his armor is built around him. But at the same time, I do like the speed on this character. He needed the speed. Also, Empire allies Sith. It's based off the number of Sith and Empire allies, and Jedi and Rebel enemies. I will say, I feel like there's one thing that could have been added still to Vader, and that's counter chance. Maybe he could have got like, maybe about 4-8% counter chance per Jedi ally, that setup, or just give him straight 50% counter chance. I feel like that he deserves it because his lightsaber combat style in the movies, the Star Wars, legends and canon and stuff like that, it's Dejim-So. The fighting style is Dejim-So, which is basically they block or parry and then they counter back, and that's kind of just his style. So him having a counter chance would make sense. But if they do add that, it might be down the road. No rush, honestly. I'm glad these 2 got their reworks they needed. Especially Vader. Vader was like a really iconic character, and he had only 4 abilities. I feel like really good iconic characters should have 5. Nihilus, again, I did the last video I'd be putting up within today will be talking about the name change of the leader and the unique. It was Wound in the Force and Lord of Hunger, but now it's Lord of Hunger and Strength in the Void. So, I'm glad they changed that. It kind of, because they wanted to make it so that the unique would tie into the triumvirate, Lord of Hunger, Lord of Pain, Lord of Betrayal, that kind of linkage, instead of the Hunger being the leadership. So for Nihilus, he is like probably the best of the best. Like, if at worst case scenario he needs to boost it anywhere, it could be maybe some more, like maybe 20% health and protection. But I don't even see that needed. Now, I will say there is one thing that I feel like really, really does stand out that needs to be readdressed a little bit, is the Strength of the Void. Don't get me wrong, I love how Strength of the Void works. Of course, the new name for it. This morning I was planning this video. I was like, oh, okay, it's Lord of Hunger, but now it's Strength of the Void. Anything happens in like 18 hours. Anything can happen. But anyways, Strength of the Void, I feel like works great. It's a great counter to Rex-led teams, Darth Maul teams, any teams that work around critical chance. It does not give turn meter to Biggs. That's big. That is huge because these Sith under Nihilist cannot critically hit. But I feel like it could boost like 15% more offense, and he could also have the Sith allies gain either 50% defense or 50% tenacity, or even 50% critical avoidance. It'd be kind of nice, so he doesn't, the team doesn't get critically hit. That way, your team actually stands a better chance, and we could see Nihilist pop up. I will be planning on doing another video where I will talk about another possible way of bringing Nihilist as a leader into the game down the road, and so stay tuned for that. But for the most part, yeah, Nihilist's Strength of Void could be boosted a little. Not saying like make it like 100% offense, 150% defense. That'd be crazy. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Next, Scion, he's fine as is. They built him perfectly where they need him to be. And the same with Trey when I get to her, so I'm probably just not going to go to her. Darth Maul, he's another iconic character, especially from episode 1. He deserves another special ability, like probably a lightsaber throw, like the vertical one from like Battlefront, where he throws it vertically. It only targets one enemy and just does some damage, double damage to Jedi, something of that nature. That's the only thing I feel like Darth Maul would be lacking right here. Nothing too major. Count Dooku is another iconic character I feel like could use another unique or another special ability. He could have some sort of like force crush. Well, and this kind of goes with Darth Maul too a little bit, like force choke, force grip, force push. Well, or maybe Dooku would be force pull, where they pull down, or maybe pulls the target into his lightsaber. There's something cool that would be unique for Dooku. So they just have a force pull, and instead of Dooku charging towards them, the AI comes towards them, stabs, and then the character goes back. Unless character dies, then it dies right there. It dies right there. That'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. And he gets like 100% turn meter if he kills an enemy that way. I think it'd be kind of cool. But so that's one area that's lacking. 2, obviously his leadership will eventually get some touch-ups with whenever they decide to do a Separatist rework, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, other than I feel like this ability could go to a Zeta, if not a higher grade Omega. And he could use some love in the maybe like 20% health, 20% protection department, because he is still a bit squishy. But not as much since he has a Zeta. They could always still improve that. Outside of that, I think Dooku is good as is. And if they ever make another character to work under Palpatine, they have 3 characters running around shocking people, that would really speed up Palpatine. Dooku would be definitely one of them. Savage Opress, he's fine as is. He's fine as is. I'm gonna earlier I mentioned about a video I felt like Nihilist might be a leader in. That same video, I'm going to be doing basically what I'm going to say is I'm going to do some teams of Sith that might be very possible for Arena. And Savage is going to be one of them in a couple of those teams. So stay tuned for that. Darth Sidious. This one is a unique character as well. He's, of course, obviously the younger version of Palpatine, if you go by at least movie-wise. I feel like his third ability should be some sort of shock or stun or something like that, where he automatically shocks a stun someone and does double damage to Jedi or something like that. Nothing too major, but just a special that works with shock and stun, so that he would work under a Palpatine lead, and so that there would be two tanks, Palpatine, Dooku, and Sidious, and they would be doing some sort of shock team. I think it'd be kind of cool. Sith Trooper's fine, Assassin's fine, Marauder's fine, and Traya is fine. So, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts so far on the current Sith. I do like the reworks given. I do love the 3 new characters added in. I'm glad we had a Sith meta. It changed things up so much. I got tired of seeing Jedi Rey at the top. Of course, it'll eventually get to the point where we get tired of seeing Palpatine's ugly old face at the top, but I'm sure in the next 2 to 3 months we'll have that changed, and hopefully we get to the point where you'll see a Palpatine, you'll see a Vader, you'll see a Rey and a Commander Luke, and you'll see a General Kenobi, you'll see a Rex, and maybe a Darth Nihilus. So hopefully that happens in the near future. So again, that's my thoughts on the Sith. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you like about the Sith? What do what do you see that could be improved about the Sith? So yeah, and you guys have a wonderful day.